the lifestyle Christ is giving to the world. Man, listen, I'll say, someone will say, how can you sit here and say you have the opportunity to go to prison? It's an opportunity. It's a blessing upon my soul to go to prison for Christ. I didn't go there because I went to rape a child. I didn't go there because I want to steal money. I went there because I was defending the truth and it hurt someone, which is normal for this crazy world. People can easily get scared even when you tell them the truth. And I went there. But when I went there, I saw it as I was traveling to somewhere to go and learn. And what I experienced there proves that we need Christ.
Well, you went to prison?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I went to prison. I spent 2 weeks there.
Hey.
Remind.
And they said in prison. Is it prison?
Yeah, it's prison. That place is even dangerous than
cells. Prison itself.
Yeah, prison.
Hey. Olosho. But but when was that?
Oh, some few years ago. It's all about this ministerial.
Because of God.
It's ministerial thing. We have wolves among us who don't follow the teachings of Christ. Those are the things Abraham is using against us. Because if you say you are a Christian, why don't you follow the teachings of Christ? He will come at you because you say you are a Christian. You are making money from Christ. But when it comes to following the scriptures, you don't want to follow it. That's why Abraham will come and have problem. So the person who took me there is having problem because I'm exposing him. But he claims he's following Christ, but he has to take me to prison. So I was there with killers.
Hey.
And there's a policeman that shot one lady. They have sentenced him life imprisonment. He was on top of my bed.
Wow.
Yeah, that policeman was on top of my bed. The man that I was sitting with, he has also killed the wife mistakenly.
Hey.
So, yeah. The cell leader too is a murderer. He has killed almost 3 people. And when they are telling their stories, I just watch them. Killing is like the cell that I was. It's actually is the leader of the.
But why did they put you in such a cell that has a lot of murderers around you?
All of the cells is remind.
Because you didn't.
That is the headquarters of prisons. Central prison. That's why I say central.
Central.
So you get
that one,
huge
criminal,
crimes
yes.
In that place.
Hey.
And you see a young boy who has committed murder. A young boy, and he's there telling his story and he doesn't care. And that is when you understand that it is only Christ that changed life. When you go to prison.
Wow.
Most of the people, when they are telling you their story, since they came to remind, they realize that there is no hope for them. And this record is there on the media. Go and check how many prisoners' life have been transformed through Christ. The record is there. Me, myself, I've witnessed it. Not that someone is saying it. I was there and I've seen how people that don't care for life, wicked people, they can, I don't want to go into the thing they do. Because they were saying it, they say it like the way we are talking. They also narrate it because when you wake up in the morning, you go and take your food, you just be sitting there till another 5 o'clock or 5:30, then they'll close the door. So that we talk about what we do. And when they are narrating this story, but when you see them having fellowship with Christ, you understand that there come a time in a man's life, common sense will betray you. You will not even think about common sense at that moment. The only thing comes in your mind is that you should find Jesus. People that are there that have spent 30 years there, they are all Christians now.
Hey.
Someone is there for life imprisonment. We came there around 19 years. Today he's gotten to 40 years. And these people are Christians now. And when you go there, they are preaching the word of God. It's not because of the situation they are in. They realize that the only hope we can have here is Christ. And there are many testimonies. So if someone is telling you, don't go to church, that is your greatest enemy. It depends. Some churches are not Christ church. They are making business. They are destroying lives. There are some churches, if you go, your life will be destroyed. Because the man of God is not representing Christ.
Exactly. So
whatever he's doing is a business. He will take your money and destroy life. And anybody here doesn't want to be deceived. So if you tell me you are working for Christ and one day I find out that you are a trickster, I will be offended.
Of course.
And through that offending, people decide to start out with common sense and rise against the truth.
Hey.
That's the problem. So me, I can be a false man of God, but Christ is not false. I can be lying tomorrow, but Jesus is not a liar. Read the message of Christ. Malis, the peace we are enjoying today in the world, it came from the gospel. Christians, we die for our faith. Muslims kill for their faith. That's the difference. Common sense, they hide behind our revenge for what we have gone through in the hands of fake men of God. I'm telling you, half of common sense family members, they were all Christians, and some their money were taken by false prophets.
So why would some of the pastors too be doing that?
Malis, it's our nature. No matter what you do, people will decide to hide behind something and make money. It is our nature. Those that are, he said,
But why
many
do
are
you
called,
use
but few are
God?
chosen.
Why would you use God's name to do that?
Because they don't fear God. Even in politics, there are people that can really work for the country. They will not get that opportunity because they don't have any links. People that cannot really work for us, they will go and put them there, and the nation will be sinking.
But don't you think we should rather address those pastors doing that?
Malis, I
Rather
have
than-
been doing this for years, and that is what took me to that prison I'm
prison.
talking about here. They will prosecute you, and we are ready for them to. And that's my calling. So I want to give hope to the youth that whatever they are fighting, I am the leader of that thing. The lies, the pastors buying jet when members are suffering, people can't rent, and then people need money for school, and they need to help all these pastors. I am the one leading that movement.
Okay.
Reviving the people that Christ is the solution. Look, there was a time in the body of Christ. If you have 3 clothes, you share among yourself. They were sharing everything among us in the book of Acts. And the Bible said none of them was lacking. None of them in the church. So somebody have 10 clothes and you see that his brother doesn't have, then he comes and shares 7 clothes. And the Bible stated that they were all not lacking anything. Common sense can't do this. Common sense cannot think that way. There are things in the Bible that is beyond common sense. It's beyond human logic. If men are the people writing the Bible, there are certain things they will not put there. One of the things, I love your enemies. I've seen that Abraham have made so many videos on this love your enemy issue. That how can I love my enemy? Because I'm using common sense. Is to tell there's a divine knowledge somewhere that have a principle of saving the world. But that's why we Christians, we die for our faith. We don't kill for our faith. The reason we die for our faith is because we know that we can save the world. We don't fight the world. We die for the faith rather. Because we know what is in the people. The system of Satan to fight the truth. When you tell them the truth, they will persecute you. So we decide to die for the truth so that you will live and find the truth. But that's not the same in Islam. It's not the same. Because when you read all the empires that came, the Medo-Persia, the Greece Empire, the Babylon Empire, all this, the Rome Empire, when you read the Byzantine Empire, the Ottoman Empire that came, they were all into the same thing, fighting and conquering nations. And when you said the Byzantine Empire was also fighting in the name of Christ, biblically, Christ has already cursed them because Christ didn't send anybody to fight. But there are Quranic verses and hadiths that Muhammad himself is saying, I have been commanded by Allah to fight the people until they take their shahada. The lie is the shahada. Sahih Muslim 22. And you see, one thing about Islam is that the people are practicing it, and it is there clear on the media. It is clear when you go to the Arab nations, these things I'm saying, they happen there. There is no forgiveness in most of the Arab people's hearts because of the doctrine they follow. You make one mistake, your hands is gone. You make one mistake, they bury you alive. They stone you. And then they'll go to Old Testament. That's why I come and say that Islam is not built on the truth. It is built on the shadow of God's plan to come and save us. So they are hiding behind the shadow, but the light has come and the light is exposing them. Because the stoning and all those things that God gave to them, it was a dispensation, not forever, not for the entire world. And even the law was only for the Israelites, not for the world. But the teachings of Islam is for the world. And we all must submit to the teachings of Allah. And the sad part is that they want to conquer the world and rule the world. But Christians don't care about ruling any world. If there is peace in the world, and even 3 people are Christians, we like it that way. But Islam doesn't have that mentality. The evidence are on the media. They gathered in England. They were majority. They were not speaking. Now that they think they're having numbers, they started shouting, we want Sharia laws. We want Sharia. What are you looking for in the Sharia laws? Why do you need the Sharia laws? You go to somebody's country. You leave your country. You go to somebody's country. They accept you all. Now that you are increasing in numbers, you are shouting Sharia laws. The videos are there. Yeah. I don't want them to come and act emotional. Me, the moment you are acting emotional, you give me the power even to grab you more. Because that emotional thing, it doesn't work in my world. I hate feelings. Yet let's use logic. The videos are there. You are shouting Sharia laws. Sharia laws. And most of their sects in the Arab nation, they say Islam will enter every home. I don't need Christianity to enter in every home. All I need is the country should be safe. It should be peaceful. Whether 3 people go to church or not, that is what Christ wants. He didn't come to conquer the world. He came to conquer sin. He said, I am knocking at your door. If you are willing to open, I'll come in. I'll come in and save you. But if you don't want to open, I will still be there. I will not force you. But that's not what Islam is. Malis, if you study the system of Islam, you will understand that it's not a religion. They just covered it with religious ideologies. But Islam is not a religion. And the problem is that they don't even have the knowledge to understand God's plan. Because they don't understand the Old Testament. So they use the battles in the Old Testament to justify what Muhammad did. If you understand the coming of the Messiah, you will know that anybody that picked the sword after the Messiah to go and fight people is not really sent by God. And the critical moment is that the Muslims are fighting the Jews. And in the hadith, they said they must fight the Jews for the last hour to be established. So as we are waiting for the last hour, Muslims in their mind, they must fight the Jews for that last hour to come. If that fight doesn't take place, the last hour will not come. How can God? This is where common sense come in and start questioning us. How can the same God be telling one religious said that, go and fight my own people so that the last hour will be established? And the evidence are still there. Look at Gaza. Look at Palestine or whatever they call them. They were attacking Israel 7th October. And Israel came back and started bombing them. And now they start crying. They want to come and save us, so free Palestine. You are the one that is following a God that is to go and fight people. Go and kill people. And the evidence are on the media. I'm giving you hadith that is stating that the last hour will not be established. The last hour will not be established until the Muslims fight the Jews. Which kind of God is this? Which kind of God is this? So the Christians don't want to conquer any world. We want the world to be in peace. That is why Jesus teaches. Malis, the teachings of Jesus is the foundation of peace. The peace, how Abraham is talking boldly. His videos is online. He said he cannot go and stand in Nima's at a certain place to make certain comment. Why? Because he knows them. And they are not bad Muslims. They are good Muslims. And when you speak that way, Muslims are happy. They are happy that you are afraid of them. Why should I be afraid of you? A human being claiming that you are following a creator and you want me to be afraid of you because you know that if I'm not afraid of you, the religion will collapse. I don't need you to be afraid of me. All the time when I'm sitting, I say, be afraid of God. I'm a man of God, not a man of man. So when you dare me, I activate the God power in me. I don't say I'm coming after you. I don't say you meet me in that junction. Abraham knows them. He knows it, so he said on his media that these people there, when you can't go and sit somewhere and say certain things. This is the system of Islam. They want to shut everybody's mouth and rule the world. And that is why I thank God for the Western powers. If it wasn't for them, by this time, Muslims have taken over the world. Oh yes, so we should be thanking God for the European countries and United States of America and the China and Russia. Because Muslims are not sleeping. They are busily investing money. They just invested $1 trillion into United States of America's political system. Some people that you hate, because to them, US is a Christian country. And they must do everything to take it over. And they are planning. They are planning. Even UTI DAWAH sit on his platform and he campaigns towards that direction. Me, I don't campaign for Christians to rule Ghana. Even if Abraham will become a president tomorrow and the people will live in peace, I have no problem with it. What I'm for is peace. Whether you become a Christian or not is none of my problem. It's not my business. God is standing at the door. Who am I to come and force you? God himself, he said, I'm knocking at the door. Who am I to come and force you? And the verses are there, Malis. The verses are there. So they take the shadow of the Old Testament and they put it in the Quran. I want to challenge my brother UTI DAWAH here. That why did God create another religion? God doesn't need to create another religion. The foundation has been laid. Malis, if you want to build the house, you first lay a foundation. The foundation can be there for 5 years, 10 years. When you are ready, you start laying bricks. Why will God change his plan and create a religion from the Arabs? It's not the word of God. It's not linked with the Bible. That is why the Bible is a nightmare. They say the Bible is corrupt. No evidence. No evidence. So he should come and explain to us why God decided to create Islam. And the person that even confirmed Muhammad's calling and helped him to come out of the depression he went through when the angel came to press him, Waraka, he died as a Christian, not as a Muslim. And why are you telling me Christians are going to hell when it was a Christian that helped your prophet to become a prophet? You see, it doesn't tally. It doesn't make sense. My Christian father made your prophet a prophet. That time he was so depressed that nothing could help. Muhammad was thinking that he would have died. And Khadija was saying you will not die. So Khadija took Muhammad to his cousin, Waraka, to help Muhammad come out from that depression. And if a Christian is the one helping Muhammad to become a prophet, why are you not turning your back and telling the Christians that we will not have salvation? Malis, Islam has nothing to do with the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and I have the evidence here. So the problem with common sense family is that they are angry with what the pastors are doing. They are angry with how people are duping money in the church. But common sense is not something you join. Common sense is not acquired. You can critique, you can analyze, but you have to believe in something. And Abraham is hiding behind common sense and he is trying to fight religion. But why do you even fight religion? Me, I have every right to fight Islam because I know the ideology. I don't fight Hinduism, Hare Krishna, Judaism because they don't have any plan of conquering the world and destroying our peace. But Islam has that mentality in them, and they teach them in the mosques. The videos are online. He cannot deny it. The verses are here. I'm going to go into it. But common sense family, what can you offer to the world? Even though Muslims have this mindset, they are helping many. Yes, even in that critical situation of Islam, they help many. They have supported many. They have built schools and they are helping the needy. So religious bodies in some way is also transforming life. But when it comes to salvation, returning to the Creator, you only need Jesus. He is the only way.
But why is it that now common sense is being branded as lack of faith in both religions?
Malice, that's why I say that this atheism and common sense and these things, they are all anger of not getting what they want, and some of them getting stabbed at the back, and somebody getting aggrieved.
But don't you think being an atheist is different from common sense?
Man, it's the same thing. God has his own plan. We have history that proves that everyone was serving their own God throughout history. And the Bible records this history, and historians have confirmed a lot of things about these things. And one God suddenly appeared from nowhere to Abraham, and he said, Abraham, I want to start something with you. And then God waited for Moses to come, and then he spoke to Moses. And if Moses is lying, the people witness God. The Israelites, like Ghanaians, we are witnessing God. So Abraham said, an angel to come and tell us right now that he is the angel of God. God has already laid a foundation. Right now, we are supposed to convince you through your sincerity and your conscience, not through an angel coming to stand and say, I am from God. Believe in me. No. Your conscience is what carries the key to accept the truth. If you refuse to use your conscience, even if an angel comes to stand here, you still challenge the angel. As you are saying, you have a lot of questions to ask the angel because you yourself, you have lost your purpose and you don't even know who you are. So you think challenging God is the key to giving you peace. But if you understand the reason God even made you the way you are, you will thank God every day and night. So common sense, you don't have any right even to come and talk because what have you offered? What have you offered to the nations?
But if you think he has lost his purpose, what is our purpose?
Malice, you can only discover your purpose through Christ in this world.
It's Christ.
Only Christ. Look, let me tell you one thing. Okay. If I want to become married children, as an ordinary man, I'm not religious. I'm an atheist today. I want to join something, a religion that will help me, or a movement that will help me marry children. Islam is the best place to go. Oh yes, because the moment you join, you can marry the children, and it's not a sin. So if you go to where they have taken over and the Sharia law is working, you can marry children there. But where the Sharia law is not, the nation will fight against you for taking a child. So if let me say I want to marry children, the option is for me to accept Islam and get children to marry because Muhammad is the example. In Quran 33:21, he is the best of mankind. He's an example for mankind. Exactly. So whatever Muhammad did, they must do. They must follow. And if you read the Quran, it's even stated there that those that have not even have their menstruation, why are you marrying somebody who has not have his menstruation? They marry the person and then they have to, if they want to divorce you, they have to wait to check whether you are pregnant or not. And the period of waiting is also counted there in Quran 65, verse 4.
Can they read for
Sister,
us?
Yeah, you can read for me. I don't want to take it to my time so they can check. If anybody want to read for me, Quran 65, verse 4.
Oh, we have enough time.
And even I have the hadith
just
here.
28
The
minutes
tafsir.
gone. We are just 28 minutes gone. If
I have the tafsir here. We can read Ibn Abbas. Ibn Abbas explained it perfectly. Ibn Abbas explained it perfectly. So we don't need him to come and do it. He's not wiser than Ibn Abbas. He can never be greater than Ibn Abbas, and he can never be wiser than Ibn Abbas. Ibn Abbas stated that those that have not had their menstruation, you can also wait 3 months. So man, is marrying a child. Even Ghana law is powerful than the Quran. The only place Muslims are Muslims is the Arab nation. They are not Muslims in Ghana here. Because there are things UTI cannot do in Ghana. He will be arrested. How can you follow your God and you be arrested? Me, I got arrested because I was speaking against injustice, lies, evil, and I got arrested. But you, when you marry a child, you'll be arrested. And that child is going to be destroyed by you. But you can't do it in Ghana here. So the reason I say Mali is Christianity is the only faith that transforms lives, that take people's depression, that take people from drug addict, that take people for prostitution. It is only Christ that does that. There is no faith in the world that does it. The testimonies are out there. There are people that encounter Jesus supernaturally. They encounter Jesus supernaturally and their life will change. Look, you can convert anybody, but Muslims, they are not easy to convert out of their religion. The way they think, the way they are programmed is different from the way other religious bodies think. That's why when a Muslim leave Islam, we jubilate. Because it's not easy for a Muslim to leave Islam. But listen, more than thousands are seeing Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And they are walking out of this religion. And common sense is telling me that it's an invention. How can an invention be appearing in people's dream and be telling them to walk out of Islam? And then some of them, they know the penalty for leaving Islam. Because the hadith is stating that when you leave, they should kill you. Nobody should change his religion. Once you are a Muslim, you can't change your religion. You have to remain there. Malis, I have 1,000 reasons to reject Islam. The only way I can accept Islam is when I want to live any life I want. When I want to destroy the world, when I don't want my life to become a blessing for people, when I don't want to give people peace, that is when I'll accept Muhammad. Because I will give him the privilege to sin and go and do ablution, and you forgive me. Anybody that sins to pay a price. In Islam, ablution take away your sin. I buy pure water 5 CD, and I go and pray, and then Allah forgive me. No, that's not God's plan. You must pay a price when you sin. But in Islam, ablution is taking away your sins. So they will continue to sin more. They will continue to sin. So common sense family, I have no problem with you fighting religious bodies. God said we should analyze. We should use our brain. We should critique. So you have every right to critique Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, or anything. But my question to you, the common sense family member, what are you also standing on? What do you also believe that can transform life? I am telling you what Jesus is teaching. And the message of Jesus is the reason we are enjoying peace. There are more than millions of testimony where people's life became difficult and Christ was the only one that gave them peace. And don't come and tell me that how have we developed the country? It is not Christian that will develop the country. It is politicians. You don't vote for Jesus. You don't vote for the Holy Spirit. You vote for politicians. So your development will come from your politicians, but your life will become better through Christ. So what common sense is do if they channel their strength on the politicians, by this time Africa would have been developed. By you trying to fight Jesus, who is not on a ballot paper, you are wasting your time. You are wasting your time. And the reason they will get many people is that we have many stupid pastors. Hey. Oh yes, we have many stupid pastors in the system. So you get many people who are in those stupid churches. And when you apply the common sense to help them, they will see the foolishness in those pastors and they'll walk out. But that doesn't mean Christianity is false.
There is not a single religion, not just Christianity. There is not a single religion on the face of this earth that says they are God have chosen for them Christianity, or they have God have chosen for them Judaism, or they have God has chosen for them Marxism, or Taoism, or Buddhism. If there is a single verse that says the only religion I, Jesus, accept is Christianity, bring it. Or if the only religion Jehovah accepts is Christianity, bring it.
Okay.
Or Judaism, bring it. The question is that before Christianity means a follower of Christ to them, which was given to them by idol worshippers.
Yes.
By idol worshippers. Now, if it was given to them after Christ have left the face of this earth in Acts 11, verse number 26 to 27, this is how academians talk. They talk with verses. And none of the disciples of Christ were actually there. It was rather Paul and his disciples whom these idolaters saw and called them Christians. So before they were called Christians, what was their name?
Okay.
Christ for once never called them Christians. And when we put Judaism in the picture, you see that Judah is the son of Jacob. So before the son of Jacob was born, what was their religion?
Okay.
So if you say Judaism is the religion, then Abraham can be part. Because it starts with the name of who? Judah. So Islam says, all the prophets from Adam until Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam are all Muslims. A Muslim is someone who has submitted to God. And God himself says in Quran 3 verse 19 that Inna Dina Inda Allahil Islam. The only religion I do accept is Islam. And Allah says in Quran 2 verse 136, Kulu amanna billah. Say we believe in Allah. Wama unzila ilayna. And what was sent down unto us. Wama unzila ila Ibrahim. And what was sent down to Abraham. Wa Ismail and Ishmael. Wa Yaqub and Jacob. Wal Asbat. And the 12 sons of Jacob. We believe in all of them. Wama utiya Musa. And what was given to Moses. Wa Isa. And what was given to Jesus. Land of Wama utiya nabiyuna min rabbihim. And what was given to all the prophets that were sent down from God. As a Muslim, we make no distinctions between them. وَنَحْنُ لَهُ مُسْلِمُونَ. We and them are all submitters to God. We are all Muslims. So if you check Quran 3 verse 52, Jesus and his disciples were called Muslims. فَلَمَّا حَيْسَ عِيسَى مِنْهُمُ الْكُفْرَ قَالَ الْحَوَارِيُّونَ مَنْ أَنصَارِ إِلَى اللَّهِ نَحْنُ أَنصَارُ اللَّهِ آمَنَّا وَاشْهَدْ بِأَنَّا مُسْلِمُونَ. Jesus and his disciples were all Muslims in the Quran. In the book, in Quran chapter number 26, verse number, is it 13? And Quran chapter number 3 verse 84, and Quran 2
I would
verse
prefer some to be
136.
read.
All of them were Muslims. No.
Some of the
Oh,
quotations.
sure, for sure.
Yes.
Sure. So
For clarity.
For clarity, all of them were Muslims. So if you can read Quran 3 verse 52 for me.
Yes.
Quran 3 verse 52. 3, chapter 3 verse 52. So I even read it and translated it.
Okay, but because we are in Arabic, we can't understand.
I translated.
Some will translate it
Himself.
for the sake of debate.
Exactly.
I
just translated it.
say it so that.
So I've
Inshallah.
added
But if there
extra
are some
time.
that you
So
want to read that,
exactly.
Yeah. So it is obviously clear that you can't give us a single religion over here, whether Christianity or Judaism, that says that Judah himself is even a Judaism, is part of the Judaism religion, he himself in the Bible. And similarly, you can't give us that Jesus himself ever said, I'm a Christian. You can't get it. But we can give you where Jesus said he's a Muslim. We can give you where Muhammad said he's a Muslim, where Moses said he's a Muslim in the Quran. So if I meet two books and I'm about to search which religion both of them followed, it's obviously clear that the one that says I'm a Muslim, I'm a this, should be the one I'm following. So let's put that aside. It's not about ranting without quotations. It's about giving the facts. Now, the reason why Islam is the perfect religion is that Islam works with the cognitive domain. It also works with the psychomotor and the affective aspect. Now, let me break it down. Before anyone says Islam is a blind faith, you need to examine the Quran. The Quran uses words like, afala ta'qilun, will you not reason? Afala tatafakkarun, will you not reflect or think? Afala tadabbarun, will you not reflect? The Quran uses akal, sense, 49 times. The Quran uses fikr, thinking, several times. The Quran uses the word knowledge over 700 times. And for community to develop, for a nation to be built, it is built on knowledge, wisdom, and sense. So first of all, I spoke about the cognitive. The cognitive aspect is the thinking aspect. Then the psychomotor, how you use that knowledge to let it appear in your life. How you make it emancipate in your life through your movement. You understand? So Islam says, famshu fi manakibiha, this ayah, Surah Al-Jumu'ah, Quran 62, verse number 9 going. It says, after you have finished praying, go and work. So we use work and knowledge to develop a society. So Islam makes sense. It tells me to reason. It tells me to use the common sense. My brother is here talking against common sense. And we cannot develop or grow without applying sense, wisdom, and knowledge. And Islam comes with all. So if you are to use the Christian concept of reasoning without applying common sense and knowledge, if we reject the common sense, we reject the knowledge, then obviously the religion is vanity. We cannot follow it. It becomes a blind faith. Now, secondly, the Quran says, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ وَلَوْ كَانَ مِنْ عِنْدِ غَيْرِ اللَّهِ لَوَجَدُوا فِيهِ اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. Will you not reflect upon the Quran? Had it not come from Allah, had it come from somebody else other than Allah, you would have seen so many crookedness in it. It talks about reflection, so you have to use the brain. The Quran is not against your brain. So this goes to AVRAHAM. The Quran goes with common sense. It goes with intellect. It goes with wisdom. Islam activates the brain. So that is why when you look at the golden age of Islam, you will see there are so many discoveries and inventions that were being done by Islamic scientists like Ibn Khaldun, Ibn Sina, Al-Khawarizmi, Ibn Battuta, Ibn Firnas. These are people and many others who were bringing inventions into this world. And their inventions have helped humanity unto date. Talk of the one who wrote Kitab al-Jabr wal-Muqabala, Algebra. His name is Al-Khawarizmi. He is a Muslim. So Islam tells us to reflect. So if we are to put Islam into practice, we will develop. Islam has ruled the world when the world were in peace. And the likes of Mahatma Gandhi and the rest, Thomas Carlyle and the rest, who are much more intellectual, who are reasonable, who are rational in thinking, have said, had the whole world ruled by the teachings of Muhammad, the world would have been at peace. So it's not people who have made their mind that we hate Muslims, so we want to come and lie against them. We are going to expose their lies. That is why we've jotted everything here.
Okay.
So Islam is not against the use of common sense, but this is what Islam talks. You know, when the reason why you cannot follow common sense also alone, Avraham's, let me use this, Avraham's concept of common sense alone is that most of his argument is like, we don't need a book, we have brains. Okay? We don't need a book to tell me this, we have brains. If the brain is enough, the question is, if the brain is enough, why do brains disagree?
Okay.
Why do brains disagree? Brilliant philosophers do disagree. Brilliant scientists, they do disagree.
Exactly.
Kai, brilliant geographers, they disagree. So you will see there are several theories on even the earth alone.
Exactly.
We have the environmental possibilities or possibilism. We have the environmental determinism. We have the Big Bang theory. We have the conflict theory. All of this, when you check through, you will see they are disagreeing with each other. All of them trying to tell us how the environment came about. You understand?
Yeah.
So why do scientists, why does the brain itself disagree with each other if the brain is enough? Because if the brain alone was sufficient, then truth will have to be universal.
Exactly. It should be one.
But because the brain is not sufficient, that is why we always disagree with each other. You understand me?
Yeah.
So we need to know this. So disagreement in our brains proves our limitations. That proves our limitations. Then again, if we are to say we don't need the books, there will be a morality problem.
Exactly.
Because if Abraham and his crew reject religious books, so where does morality actually comes from? Is it subjective or objective? Are we talking about intuitive ethics or naturalistic ethics? Or we are probably talking about emotive ethics. If it is emotive ethics, then it is your own idea. Take it. It cannot unite the entire world. What is good to you might not be good to me. If it is naturalistic ethics, they are talking about society. At a point in time, society have collapsed. There are things that society have accepted to be true. And today, they rejected it all because it is not perfect. If it is perfect, it doesn't need reform. If you're already perfect, why will you reform?
No.
You don't need to reform. So, for instance, at a point in time, slavery was legal. So even the chiefs in Ghana, the chiefs in Togo, the kings in places had slaves. To the extent of having a chief among the slaves, ahenkwa. It was normal in households. And then the colonialism also came in. These were normal in the society. But today, is it rational? So if it is perfect, how do we use it? How do we reform it? So it is because it is not perfect. That is why we are reforming. So we cannot put our trust in this. Now, again, what Islam actually teaches is that morality is objective. It is objective. When we say it is objective, it is guided by a criteria. And the one who put this criteria expects everyone to fall under that criteria so that the whole world will follow that criteria. Objective means the fact that it is okay to you doesn't mean it is actually okay to the whole world. So there were Maasai tribes, a tribe called Maasai tribes, where, for instance, if you are my wife, this one, if he's at the same age with me, he can come and sleep with you. And to them, society-wise, it is okay.
Of course.
Naturalistically, it is okay. But what? Objectively, it is not. Objectively, it is not. So when we put subjective and objective, we come to our summative information that we cannot use his concept of common sense to work because it does not suit the entire world. Moreover, if he say spirituality is my personal, it is your personal problem, you don't have to let anybody know. You don't have to force anybody. Nobody is forcing anybody. But if I love you, that is when I see that you are falling in gutters. I draw you away from it. Me drawing you away or pushing you from falling into gutters does not mean I'm forcing you, rather I'm saving you. That is why Quran says, "Edu ila sabili rabbika bil hikma wal mau'izati al hasana wajadiluhum billati hiya ahsan." Invite in the way of Allah, bil hikma, with wisdom, wal mau'izati al hasana, with good words, wajadiluhum billati hiya ahsan, and call upon them onto the right way, the perfect way. So if someone is falling and I draw him, it doesn't mean I am actually forcing him. Now, if spirituality is your personal issue, how do you verify spiritual truth without revelation? How do you verify spiritual truth without revelation? Hindus feel truth because they are spiritual. Christians feel truth. They are spiritual. The Muslims feel truth. They are spiritual. So are the Buddhists. They feel truth. They are spiritual. But feelings do contradict. Feelings do contradict. But revelation is a calibration. You can only use revelation to verify whether the spirit you claim to have is from God or not. Oh, these are the petty reasons why I, for instance, cannot accept Avraham's concept of common sense he's preaching. Then again, there are instances when you see him siding along with those who worship idols and stuff. Now, if statue is symbolic, then why worship it? Why not worship the higher spirit itself instead of the statue?
Give us an example.
Example, if I put this water over here,
Okay,
and call it Kundai, and call upon Kundai, thinking Kundai will take the powers, what I'm telling it to Almighty God. Because idol worshippers believe there is Almighty God.
Okay, are you talking to our traditional believers?
There is a difference between traditional believers.
And then idol worshippers.
Yeah, idol worship is different. Traditional belief is ancestral worship.
Okay.
We all have our common sense in this studio. But the moment we entered here, this studio is being governed by rules and regulation of the studio. So imagine I want to urinate out of pure common sense, Queen Liz. Maybe I think I can stand behind you and relieve myself. But out of pure common sense, someone may correct you that, my brother, you can't do that here. So common sense is subjective, as UTI DAWAH said. But when we come together as a society, we build a system of rule that will govern and control us. The moment you enter Ashanti region, it is the laws from Menshia that governs the whole Ashanti region. Ashanti region is also under the nation Ghana, also subject to the laws and the rules of the nation. The moment you come to Accra, you subject yourself to the laws of Gamanche, who controls the Greater Accra and the locality. So when I'm building my point, let me start with God's General. Yeah. God's General made certain claims about common sense and then his belief system, and I have a few things to say.
Okay.
Yeah. I've said it before. My ancestors believe in God. So I believe in God. I never said I don't believe in a book. Okay. I've never stood anywhere to say I don't believe in a book. I said I don't believe. I don't need a book. I don't need a book to introduce God to me. Okay. God is not subject to somebody's thinking. God is omnipotent. God is omnipresent. God is omniscient.
Like
God is
above.
Say
that you don't
yes.
believe the God in the Bible.
In the book. Yes.
The book and the Quran.
I don't believe in a God.
Okay.
Somebody introducing God to me in a book, in the form of a book.
Okay.
With doctrines and dogma.
It could be holy book.
It could be holy book or any book.
book.
Yes, we need knowledge. We need common sense. We need critical thinking. We need knowledge. So things that we acquire in books are knowledge from human beings, not knowledge from God. There is nothing on this planet that human beings have achieved which is based on religious books.
Okay.
UTI Dawa said there are Muslim inventors. Yes, I will accept. There are a lot of inventors from the Arab world.
Exactly.
And you can never attribute those inventions to the Quran. They didn't invent anything because they studied the Quran. They invented because of science and knowledge outside the Quran.
Oh. Okay.
Even how to manufacture table is not in the Bible and the Quran.
You have to learn
How to build house.
outside the
Yes,
book.
it's not in the Bible and Quran.
I get
It is knowledge that it is knowledge infused in us by whoever created us. Common sense tells us we have to wear dress. Common sense tells us we have to sleep. So necessity is the mother of invention. We are coming with a lot of invention because people are thinking. Gone are the days when you want to grind. We use stone to grind. Then somebody out of pure thinking said, no, let us make it easy so that we can go to work early. Quickly, blender came. Release. So out of people's thinking, we are able to invent things, not out of religion. Now, when an Arab man invents something, UTI Dawa attribute it to Islam.
Okay.
When an Arab man makes mistake and you point out UTI Dawa, say that person is an Arab, not a Muslim. So they take the good things from the Arab world, attribute it to Islam, but the bad things, they will push it away. You get my point? So UTI Dawa has collected straight bulletin. Let me continue. Yeah, UTI Dawa, God's General said Christianity is the only religion that makes sense. And I stand with UTI Dawa.
Hey.
See, Christianity, if you want any religion that doesn't make sense to the highest degree, is Christianity.
Hey.
You
2
see,
points.
God's General believes Jesus as
Punch.
God.
Okay.
Now, so Jesus being God was the God of the Old Testament who gave his laws to his people to follow. All of a sudden, this God couldn't change it unless he enters a woman's womb to be born for him to change his own laws that he made. What kind of God is this?
That place, you know.
It doesn't make sense. This God, when there were
So
only
let's
two
explain.
people on earth, couldn't save the two people. This God saw that man have sinned. This God that gave his worst enemies to humanity. You tell me I should go and follow this God who couldn't deal with his own enemy. Even according to Islam, there was no fight between God and Satan because Satan cannot fight Allah.
Of course.
According to Christianity, there was fight, blows,
battle.
turning kick, the pow, 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 pow. This God caught Satan. Instead of finishing Kojaki, he didn't finish Kojaki, gave Kojaki to me. Now, there was a time this God regretted creating human being and wanted to unalive. This is what we call genocide. Wanted to honor. You tell me there are violent verses in the Quran. I will quote a verse from the Bible, Queen Liz. You'll be shocked.
I was shocked.
And those, God's General said, and those things were
You have time,
those
quote
things
it,
were
quote it for us.
orchestrated by men, not God. All the dangerous murders in the Bible were orchestrated by the God of the Bible. He even gave the command. This God of the Bible gave Saul command to go and kill people. Saul was killing, and Saul said, this killing is too much. I will save the sheep and the goat. Not that he's even going to eat you. We use them to sacrifice for this God. This God got angry that Saul spared the king and the goat and the sheep. Even if you are going to unalive a nation. I know it's in Islam. Yeah, go and fight, go and fight. I've not seen a verse that the Quran says we are going to kill people. Kill the sheep and goat. Abba!
Even the animal.
A God that gets angry kills animal. When we check this concept of Noah's flood, you tell me God got angry.
Yes.
Unalive pregnant women, unalive children,
Why
just
the
to save
sacrifice?
4 people, and still he couldn't deal with the concept of sin. So don't stand anywhere and tell people Islam, Christianity is the only religion that makes sense. Never. No. Now let me show you where. Do you know the number of people God saved from Egypt? This God, out of his love for the Israelites, sent Moses, go and bring my people from Egypt, claiming to be a God of love, that he has remembered his promise to Isaac, Jacob, and Abraham. Do you know the number of people he took from Egypt? He took 600,000 people, not including women and children. 600,000 people from 20 years. So roughly there were over 2 million people. Do you know what this God did? The 600,000 people he called out of Judah. This God couldn't control his anger. Mind the word anger. This God got angry killed all the 600 people and left only 2 people. With all due respect, a God who wasn't even able to save 600,000 people. Today, we are 7 billion. Can he save me? Even check the story of Cain and Abel. There were only 4 people on earth. Adam, Eve, Cain, Abel. Cain had a plan to kill his brother Abel. When there were 4 people, this God couldn't even intervene to save Abel. I don't trust this your God. So when you meet me, don't come and praise Christianity in my presence at all. Now, let's go on. I want to show you some. Quickly, look at what. So, God's general was so smart. He knows there are a lot of violent verses in the Old Testament. So, quickly said that the Old Testament, what is done away, is a way of hiding from. You said Jesus is God. And Jesus is the God of the Old Testament. So, he is the same person who gave those orders for people to be unalive. Queen Liz, this God says in Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 16. Deuteronomy 24, 16.
Thank you.
Deuteronomy 24,
I think Queen Liz likes reading. When you read, and I think Queen Liz will get the point.
Now get
Verse 16. Let's go.
Thank
Parents
you.
are not to be put to death
Queen Liz, this same God says parents are not to be put to death
for crimes committed by children.
for crimes committed by their children, which is perfect. Queen Liz, if parents commit their crime,
Go and
children
face
should
your
not
own face.
deal with the parents.
Yeah.
Don't add the children.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Continue.
And children are not to be put to death for crimes committed by their parents.
Simple. And when children do their mistake, the children must suffer. This is an order from the God of the Bible, whom God's general claim came as Jesus Christ. Accepted. Continue.
People are to be
put to death.
Only for crimes
They
they themselves have committed.
Committed.
Queen Liz, let's use this yardstick to judge the God of the Bible. He even failed. 1 Samuel chapter 15 verse 1. Queen Liz, what a pity. The Amalekite, they are great grandfathers. When the Israelites were coming from Egypt, they had an encounter with them. There was a confusion between them. Queen Liz, it is their great grandfathers that committed this crime. Now look at what God, the God of the Bible, want to do with their great grandchildren who have nothing to do with the crime committed by their forefathers. Now read and let's see. What a pity.
1 Samuel 15:1.
1 Samuel 15:1.
Someone said to Saul,
Samuel the prophet said to Saul,
I am the one whom the Lord sent
I'm the one who the Lord said
to anoint you king of his people.
to anoint you king of his people Israel.
Now listen to what the Lord Almighty says.
This is what the Lord Almighty, whom God's general claim is Jesus Christ, is saying. Continue.
He is going to punish the people of Amalek
He is going to punish the people of Amalekite
because their ancestors opposed the Israelites.
because their ancestors. Queen Liz, is it not the same God who said the children are not to be punished for sin committed by the fathers?
By the fathers.
This is not even the fathers, you. They are ancestors. Continue.
When they were coming from Egypt,
When the Israel were coming from Egypt,
go and attack the Amalekites.
now, this is the order from the God of the Bible, whom God general says is Jesus Christ. Now, when you say Jesus is God, that means he is the God of the Old Testament. Now, when you tell me Jesus is the Son of God, you are trying to tell me God the Father did some things in the Old Testament which doesn't make sense, and his Son is coming to correct the Father. What an insult to the Almighty. Abba, I was a Christians. Now continue.
So what are you saying about our dispensation as well? Because
I don't belong to their they should take their dispensation. Queen Liz, let's go. Let's go. I don't belong to any dispensation.
Because when we give birth, we suffer. When we were not there, we didn't eat any apple.
Now, if they are trying to tell us when women are going for labor they suffer because it is God's curse.
Okay.
Now, when you become a Christian woman, Christ have bought you from the curse. Why do Christian women also go to labor and suffer?
That's
Why
my
Christ
problem.
have died for you?
Because we were not there.
It doesn't make
Adam,
sense.
when he was going to take
Adam and his wife should suffer
their own
Release.
thing.
Release.
According to these verses that are being read.
Yes, from
Okay.
their own sources.
Let's go.
Yanko.
Go and attack the Amalekites.
Now, the God of the Bible is telling Saul to go and attack the Amalekite.
Okay.
Now, continue.
And completely destroy everything they have.
Completely destroy everything they have.
Do not leave a ten.
Do not leave a ten.
Kill all the men,
Kill, number one, kill all the men,
women,
women,
children,
and
babies,
the
cattle,
cattle,
sheep.
I don't need this God. Please. Before a Christian You go to the Quran and say the Quran has violent verses. Check your
check your
Bible.
own.
There are brutal things in the Bible. When we go there, you'll be shocked.
This one there, please, we are quoting.
There was a time King David made the mistake. First Chronicles 21 verse 1. King David made the mistake by taking census. This God got angry. Do you know what the God of the Bible did?
No.
He killed 70,000 innocent people for David's mistake. Even in that verse, David gave that God an advice. We won't read the whole story. First Chronicles 21. Look
Just
at
that place.
Yes, look at what David told the God of the Bible.
Just the advice.
And with this, David was a member of Common Sense family.
Hey,
I'm telling you, look at the Common Sense 21.
that time, common sense was existing.
Yeah, Common Sense, they are from generation.
They are
So
down.
in Islam, UTI made this point that yes, according to Islam, you have to believe
Apply.
in a supreme being and still apply common sense.
Of course.
Because in Kremonia,
Common sense, critical
yes, it's like a
thinking.
Muslim. It's like a Muslim during Ramadan.
Okay.
You are still in the hookup group.
Hey.
Yes, there
Oh,
is
yeah,
better.
they were.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, they were.
There is better.
Olosho.
Yes.
Olosho.
Yes, you are not deceiving Allah. You are.
What are you doing there?
Please, I was posting these things and some Muslims think I'm attacking
Yeah.
Islam. No.
Then the
I'm
people who are betting,
I'm
online
rather,
bets,
I'm rather telling Muslims
they'll be in their room
yes,
betting.
to follow.
God is watching, Allah is watching you.
Yes, to follow what Islam
Yeah.
teaches. So any Muslim that have betting app on their phone,
Delete it.
even if you've not installed, you are not a Muslim.
Yo.
Why is it on your phone? Because one day you try your luck.
God has marked you.
Yes.
One. You are not
Let's
part.
go.
You are in the holy man.
21 verse verse 17.
Let's
So
go.
after the God of the Bible unalive 70,000 people,
Hey.
they didn't commit any sin. No. Look at what David said. Continue.
First Chronicles 21.
Let's go
17.
verse 17. Let's go because of
David
time.
prayed.
David prayed.
Oh God,
Queen Liz, look at the common sense.
You have
David said, "Oh God, yes."
I am the one who did wrong.
David said, "God,
Oh.
I am the one who did the
Yeah,
mistake."
punish me.
I
Continue.
am the one who ordered the
Census. I'm the one who ordered the census.
What have these poor people done?
What has these poor people, 70,000 people, done to you?
Lord,
Lord,
my God,
my God,
punish me and my family
punish me, David, and my family,
and spare your
and spare these people, 70,000. David Krogu
Oh.
Nyansa chairman. Abba.
Oh, chairman.
Queen Liz. So don't ever stand anywhere and say Christianity. Don't dodge the Old Testament, my brother.
I feel
don't
sad.
dodge Old Testament. Without Old Testament, you don't have a New Testament. And there is no verse in the Old Testament that said a time will come. God will change his laws. Hey, Jeremiah 31:31 says, God will rather put the laws in your heart. It is only Christians that have a book that you have 66 book. You are telling me out of the 66 book, no, majority doesn't work.
Hey. For once, it's like my Islam brother is, nodding to my common sense.
I'll come to
man.
you. You leave the UTI.
Hey! Hey! My people. Mashallah. Today, dear. I love what is going on. Yeah, kwa. We have time.
Yes, God
90
General said,
minutes.
yes, God gave us common sense. Yes, God gave us common sense. So it is God given. Queen Liz, I was born with a brain.
Yes.
I wasn't born with a Bible or a Quran.
Okay.
If anybody writes book about how to live a fruitful life, I will follow.
Okay.
But if anybody writes a book telling me this book is from God, if I don't believe what is in the book, this God will put me in hell and burn me, I will question it because it involves my salvation. Nobody should tell me that it is not by force to become a Muslim. It's not by force to become a Christian. According to the concept, it is what God wants his children to do. It is an order from the Almighty, and nobody must turn away from it. But he has given you the free will whether you join or not to join. It's like Ghana law. Ghana law is not forcing anybody. The law is there. You have your free will to obey or not to obey. So if you obey, the law doesn't have any problem with you. But when you do not obey, that's why we have the prisons and the cells and the law to deal with people. Laws are meant to be broken because of free will. Okay. Let me continue.
This is heated, huh?
Yeah, God's General was repeating, I've been condemning Christianity because of some bad things people do in Christianity. Ask everybody that follows me. I don't judge a religion based on the attitude of one person. I judge a belief system based on its document. So watch all my videos. I quote Quran, I quote Hadith, I quote Bible, and then I quote, yes, their Bible, and then yes. Anytime you see me on a pastor, it means the pastor has misinterpreted a Bible verse, and I'm correcting. But I can't judge Christianity because a pastor has taken somebody's wife. Because no Bible verse says go and take somebody's wife. Why should I judge Islam based on one thief who has a Muslim name? There are people in the Zongo who have Mustafa, Ahmed, Maimuna, and Sadia who don't even pray. So they are not considered the Muslims. So I cannot use that to measure
As a
Islam.
yardstick.
Even UTI DAWAH, beside the Islam he's propagating and his religion, he has his personal lifestyle. So UTI DAWAH can make mistake, but I cannot use his mistake to condemn Islam. Imagine we hear that a sheikh has stolen somebody's goat. Should we come live and say, look at Islam? There is nowhere. Even if it had been the Arab country stealing the goat, that sheikh will be beaten brutally for him to know that he is causing. Yes, that's it. So, Queen Liz, I don't base my argument.
Today, dear.
Yes, and God's general, who told you people are leaving the church because of they are taking their money. Yes, there are people that left the church because of one concept. The way pastors have been extorting money. Some leave the church because of something one pastor did. But I am telling people, don't leave religion because of one person's attitude. Exactly. You leave a religion based on its doctrine, concept, and then philosophies. If you don't like it, then you leave. That's why I say I disprove religion. Yeah, so people are not joining Common Sense Family just because. And then Common Sense Family is not a movement or form that we have doctrine and dogma. That's why from day one, I decided not to form any movement. Because Ghanaians are some people that the moment you bring them together, they will bring that religious mentality that they will think as religion.